Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day, another episode of 30 NSG. On today's show, we're going to be talking about Black Ops 6 install size is not 300 gigabytes, but Activision won't say what it really is. We're also going to talk about Horse Armor rides again. Bethesda is charging $7 for a single Starfield mission, and after months of minimal post-launch support, unhappy fans are feeling ripped off. And then we're going to talk about Dune Awakening is about to widely change everything we know about Dune. If you like these things, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, and as always, if you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. I don't know what's wrong with my camera. Give me 1 second. I gotta... Is it? No, that's not it. Let me change my... Because that's not very off looking here. What is happening? I guess that's better. Jesus. I don't know what happened to the white balance there. What's going on, chat? What's going on, Travis? What's going on, Behemoth? Nate, Waterbear, Dave Rose, good morning. So yeah, the three stories we're talking about is Black Ops 6, Starfield, and Dune Awakening. If you guys like what I do here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We just cover news stories each and every single morning. We have a little conversation. I give you my thoughts and opinions on the news story itself, not with any outside sources as far as like, you know, I'm not watching anyone else's YouTube channels or going to Twitter and looking at what other people's thoughts and opinions are. We're just reading the story on stream for the first time, give you my thoughts and opinions. So people watch this after the fact. You're like, well, that's not what's said. That's not what's happening. Well, that's what's happening at this moment when I read the article. So that's what's going on. PL says $7 for a mission. Golly, does it come with the skin too? Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that, PL. All right, the first story I want to talk about is Black Ops 6 install size is not 300 gigabytes, but Activision won't say what it really is. Okay, before I even get to this article, if you like what I do here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You have to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. Just off the title itself, I think this is ridiculous. Now, we've talked about this about 3 years ago when PlayStation was having this patent about these cartridges that were like these giant size things, and we had a conversation about this. Not saying PlayStation's doing this, but just in the general in the industry, I said it's funny to me that we're going to go back to these cartridges because games are going to become so big that you're going to be getting, instead of having discs like we have now, they're making digital games, but at the same time, to sell these games to you, they're going to have to sell you more storage, and it just goes back full circle. So here we are in 2024, and Activision has Black Ops 6. It's not 300 gigs, but again, it's gigantic in size, and these games are getting bigger and bigger in size, and yet the consoles that we have that purchase, they're like 1 terabyte, right? So you could put, what, maybe 4 games, 5 games on there? So it's getting a little ridiculous. So Call of Duty Black Ops 6 won't need 300 gigabytes for hard drive space to install, but after all, Activision won't say just how big it will be. Developer Treyarch showed off the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 at the Xbox Game Showcase this weekend, and although it looks very impressive, it also revealed that you'll also need an online connection for all game modes. Okay, not long after the reveal, fans noticed that the Black Ops 6 listing on Xbox Store page stated that the download size was towering at 309 gigabytes. Now, many of the understandably worried about the hard drives, but Activision has reassured everyone it won't be the actual download size, although they haven't said what it will be instead. If it's the Call of Duty Updates Twitter account that has also said forward to the stating, correction, the estimate size or file size currently displayed for Black Ops 6 pre-order page does not represent the download size of disk footprint or Black Ops 6. The size as shown included a full installation of Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, and all relevant content packs, including all localized languages combined, which is also representative of the typical player install experience. Okay. It says it goes on to say that Black Ops 6 will be downloadable without owning the previous games, but the actual estimate of the Black Ops 6 file size will be available closer to launch. Okay. It says Call of Duty titles are notably big in storage size, which also last year's Modern Warfare 3 topping in the predecessors at up to 200 gigabytes, while Warzone requires 125 gigabytes of space. Increasingly, the big games can be a problem for fans, especially console gamers who are likely only having 1 terabyte of storage or 500 gigabytes if you have an Xbox Series S. Black Ops 6 might not be 300 gigabytes, but it's unclear whether or not it's less or more than Modern Warfare 3. And the reason to give Black Ops 6 being online only is constantly streaming textures and other data online, so this doesn't have to rely on massive installs. Okay. That won't take into account the subsequent downloadable content from season updates, though. So we'll see how big it ends up at the end. So again, these sizes of video games are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And they make the problem and they sell you the solution, right? So the Xboxes and the PlayStations and the Nintendos out there, they're limited in size, right? 500 gigs, 1 terabyte size, 2 terabytes. But again, these games, I know for a fact that Hogwarts was over 100 gigs, and Jedi Survivor was over 100 gigs, and Fortnite's over 100 gigs, and Call of Duty's over 100 gigs. And there's just tons of, Starfield over 100 gigs, right? It's like 140, 150. So there's these games are getting larger and much bigger, take up more space, always have to be online. So there's a problem here, right? These companies have made the problem by making these games gigantic in size. Destiny, well over 100 gigs or whatnot. Okay, and yet they sell you the solution, which is get the little memory cards to stick in the back of your Xbox or put it into the PlayStation, right? And they charge almost as much as half the price of the console itself, right? You can go online right now, look at the Xbox cartridges that go in the back, the official Xbox ones, and they cost $150, $200, where the actual Xbox Series S itself costs $250, $300, and then you get the cartridge on the back. That's just the memory drive that gives you more storage on the back of that for an additional, $150 to $250. It's kind of ridiculous. Hogwarts is only 75 gigs. I'm pretty sure it's 149 gigs, at least on my Xbox it is. All right. So there's a lot of gigantic games out there that take up, regardless if it's Hogwarts or if it's something else, right? There's huge amount of storage for these games. So now the average person that buys these games and puts them on their storage, if they want them on their log, okay, they have to move stuff, right? So my son itself on the Xbox Series S, which is the biggest problem I think with the S, right, is not enough storage. He plays a whole bunch of different games and has to download them to his box, and then when he wants to play something else, he doesn't have room, so he has to remove that, put it over here and put it over there, and then download that again. It's just a pain in the ass. It's more of a problem. It's almost like I would rather just take the disc, open up the disc tray, put the disc in, and then play the game. But what do you think is going to happen? Not just with the size of Black Ops 6, if it's 200 gigs at the end of the day, if it's 140 gigs at the end of the day. Where do you think this is going to go in the future with video games, especially the digital downloads that we're not getting physical copies anymore? 90% of the thing is all going digital, or I shouldn't give you a percentage, but majority, I should say, is going digital. And where do you think these games end up? Do you think there's a roof to this, or do they kind of minimize it again and bring it back down to reality where these games can't be 200, 300 gigs? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, please check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right. The headline alone to me says this is huge. That is why are we being quite clear? Some space if you plan on playing. Yeah, it's if you want to play Call of Duty, Rose, you got to make room on your box, right? You got to make room on your box, whatever box that is. If you're playing a couple of games, if you're playing a couple of different games, like if you're playing Jedi Survivor, if you're playing Hogwarts, you can only have a couple of those games, right? If you only have 500 gigabytes on your whatever console that you're playing on, that's 4 games, okay? Then there's the little ones that take up space as well. PL says size does matter for the Series S. Jedi Survivor is 150 as of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Hogwarts is only 75. This happened to gig drives replace megabit drives. Soon, gig drives will replace the terabyte drives. Yeah. Travis says, oh, wait, wrong Wrong game. Yeah, Hogwarts is 120. So there you go. COD HQ, which includes Modern Warfare 2 2022 and Modern Warfare 3 2023, plus Black Ops 6 is 300 gigs. I'll compare this to Bungie's DCV. Bungie said that it needs to take content away to keep the size low, but COD will just fuck your storage. Yeah. What's going on, Jax? I have 400 gigabyte games. I could fit at least two of with 1 terabyte. With even a 2 terabyte, 300 gigs is way too much. Yeah, it's getting out of hand. And if you go to here, if you go to let's see, Xbox storage expansion cards, right? When you have to pay, right, just off the top here, right? Seagate storage, which is the Xbox brand one, that's $150 for 1 terabyte. Okay, $150, $250 for 2 terabytes. Right? This is exactly why they give you a cheaper box, right? Because they want you to get this other, right? Why not put the storage in the actual thing? Because they want to make it on the peripherals and whatnot after the fact, right? Is Bungo we trust? They don't lie, right? Right? I feel like that's that meme, Krebsy, where Padme is looking at Anakin. We trust Bungie, right? They don't lie, right? Right? Remember the Xbox 360 came with 20 gigabytes? I know, Dolphin. It's crazy. Right? You couldn't even download a DLC now for that price. Travis says, 30, here's the more important question about the Black Ops 6. Will it be as good as Battlefront 2? I don't know if you can compare the two. Once everything goes to the cloud, storage problems kind of get solved. No, they don't. They will find a way, Krebsy, to charge you how to access certain things for cloud store. I mean, they do it right now with photos and music, right? Apple and Google and all the other companies charge you for space for cloud storage. 100% they're going to charge you for that. $250 for 2 terabytes on Sony, which is still way too much. Eclipse says, I mean, if there's going to do all this stuff, they need to start making internet better, because internet around my town has data caps, and my data cap is like 1.2 terabytes. Quintar says 4K graphics take a lot of space. Lorker says streaming textures to the console to limit install size started with COD Vanguard. It sucks if you can't cloud game. If you can't do it that either, first thing you have to do is turn off so installs go up. And you guys were talking about this yesterday, how long it takes you because you guys are pre-ordering games and pre-installing games. It takes a really long time. I don't really have that problem where I'm at, so I don't really feel that I don't feel that problem, right? Because I have unlimited data and whatnot. But those of you that have unlimited data, I joked about it yesterday, right? If it's a 200 gigabyte game and you have data caps per week, per month, whatever, how it works for you guys, that's ridiculous, right? Like, you're like, oh, I got to play Call of Duty. I want to buy it. You pay $70, you pay $140, and then you have to sit there a couple times to download the full game. Or you pay overpriced because of your data charges. Both are shooters. Comparison is allowed. Sure. They're both video games, so you can compare any video game to any video game. You're absolutely right. Annoying part to me is even if the disc nowadays, like even with the discs, it's 150 for Jedi Survivor, and I have to do updates as well. Well, that's another conversation we can have, right, Travis? Not only is it there's single player games with DLC, which gets bigger and bigger, right? Then there's the multiplayer live service games that get bigger and bigger as they go as well, right? And then same with the multiplayer games. I'm gonna turn my Xbox on for a second because I want to see. I have quite a bit of games on there, but at the same time, I don't have as much as I want because I'm playing quite a few big games, right? So let me go look at my storage real fast while we talk about this, right? Because I'm playing. Let's see here, storage. System. Storage device. I'm 91% filled. I have 59 gigs remaining. Okay, I have 59 gigs remaining on my system. I have 22 gigs, right? Where do you look at? Where do you go? View content. Yeah, so I have like I have 22 games. I have DC Universe Online, which, I didn't want to open that. Yeah, 22 games, 802 gigabytes. Now, obviously, I got small games on there, right? I have Brotato, Circuit Superstar. We have big games, Fortnite, Fallout 76, DC Universe Online. We have Hogwarts. We have No Man's Sky, which is another huge game, right? Starfield. Suicide Squad. I have to take that back off my thing. Division 2 is another huge one. Okay. Then we have the small ones, right? Then we have the small ones like Vampire Survivor, Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, Minecraft Dungeons, Legend Bowl, right? Ghostbusters, Fall Guys, right? Circuit Superstars, and Brotato, right? There's a lot of games. Big games. We have like 5, 6 big games. I had to take Sea of Thieves off. Yeah, I had to take Sea of Thieves off mine. I just had it on recently. Right? I have to download it. My friend wanted to play it the other day, and I was like, well, I don't have it. I have to download it again, right? If you pay $300 for the Series S and 2 terabytes card, it's the cost of a Series X. Right, but then if you buy a Series X, Jag, you're only getting 1 terabyte, right? So you're paying more money to get more storage, right? You get the S, and then 2 terabytes, which is more storage than if you get just with the Xbox Series X with the 1 terabyte, right? Then you got to pay for storage for that as well. You're only getting 500 gigabytes more. I guarantee you won't eclipse Star Wars Battlefront 2 campaign. Oh, you're talking about the actual... You're talking about Call of Duty campaign compared to Star Wars. I see what you're doing, Travis. I see what you're doing. You're comparing the story campaign with Call of Duty to Star Wars, and then the multiplayer with... I see what you're doing. All right. Modern Warfare 2019 had a way better campaign. Carter House says, what happened to Dune? I don't know. Let's find out together when we get there. HDD and SSD prices are about to jump as well. Why are they about to jump, Quintar? Yep, I bought the Western Digital 2 terabyte internal SSD, and it's already almost full. Just crazy, the size of these games. Yeah, it's getting out of hand. Getting out of hand. Yeah, Brain brings up Sea of Thieves, right? Sea of Thieves is over 100 gigs. It's crazy. Yeah, Fallout 76 got the update right now. Right? That's 105 gigs, right? 105 gigs for Fallout 76. On my Series S, I have 9 games at 99.2% storage. I used to have COD pre-installed, Far Cry 5, Gold Edition, Flintlock pre-installed, Path of God, Minecraft, Multiverses, Roblox, Starfield. PL says it's all good and dandy right now. Imagine if they didn't have the unlimited internet. I'm afraid that the internet company is charging fake fees for uncapped access. That'll be nuts. Hope everyone happy. Well, it is happening in certain... We read an article of, God, it feels like yesterday, but it wasn't yesterday. It was like 2 years ago. That in certain major cities like New York, California, like LA, San Francisco. I forget a couple other cities like Chicago. They're putting like data caps, hard lock in certain places because they know they can make a shit ton of money off of that population. Quintar says product cost. Prices are like a roller coaster up there, up and down. Dave Rose says, why is this so... One second. I feel like my music's louder today. Dave Rose says the Battlefront 2 campaign is not even that good. Very predictable. And the love story with Eden made no sense. They had no chemistry, and all knew it was going to go from bad to good. Oh, yeah, it was very predictable, Rose. It was very predictable. But I think what Travis is saying is that the story, I mean, let's be fair. It's not the greatest story, but it's still a good story for a campaign for a video game, right? It's still pretty big for that campaign, where usually Battlefront was just multiplayer, right? Best shooter campaign ever, in my opinion, was the Titanfall 2 campaign. I agree with you there. I'll agree with you there. Actually, no, I'll push back a little bit. I'll push back a little bit. Bad Company 2's story campaign was actually pretty good. Predictable. It was like, what was it Fortress America? No, it was what's the other movie? There's another movie. I forget what it's called. Hogan's Heroes? No. Was it Hogan's Heroes? But anyway, the same type of story. But Battlefield Bad Company 2's storyline campaign was great. I'll push back a little bit. Titanfall 2 is definitely up there. Like, she never saw the Empire do any awful things. Yeah, it's weird when they're like, oh, all of a sudden, like, they come out of, like, brainwash mode. They're like, wait a minute. We're killing people? Red Dead Redemption 2 enters the chat. Oh, yeah, we're talking about first-person shooters as far as this campaigns go. Halo 2 is not even close. Well, that's true. Halo is that type of game as well. There's a lot of, if you think about it, there's actually a lot of first-person stories that are actually pretty good for first-person shooter games. So where do you think we go? Like, right? So let me bring this up. This is a couple years ago. We talked about this. When was it? PlayStation patent. Yeah, this is back. See, I'm telling you, this is back from 2019. This is crazy that it like it was yesterday. I remember talking about this. This is from 2019. Sony cartridges patent may describe a custom external SSD for PlayStation 5, right? This is before the PlayStation 5 even came out. We had this conversation November 12th, that week, when GXG podcast was. I talked about this, man. I feel fucking old. Okay? Sony filed a patent in June describing what would prove to be a game cartridge designed for unannounced PlayStation brand handheld device. Now the speculation that can be patent describes a custom external SSD. Okay? Like, this is what I'm talking about, right? This is a patent that they did where it had a cartridge for external SSD for more storage. And this was back in 2019. Okay, we're in 2024. Okay. And so they discovered this Let's Go Digital patent listed design of class $14.99 device, which also translates to electronic games accessory in Japan, which also led to speculation possible handheld gaming device. Right? So all these rumors and whatnot back then. But yeah, this is a SSD that they were patenting. Can you imagine going back to this? Like think how brain dead this is, right? But they get you. They get you. Right now, you can go buy a disc, or in the past, you could go buy a disc, put it in your system, and play the game, right? Now it's all digital. And now you'll be able to get it digitally and then put it onto a cartridge, a disc, right? So you can then play your game. So just imagine like this 1 terabyte SSD is just your Call of Duty. And then this 2 terabyte is your Star Wars games. And instead of getting up to put a disc in your system now, you're going to go grab a cartridge so you can insert it so you can then play digitally. Do you see what's happening here? We live in a clown world. All that leaked ahead of the console launches in 2020. It's like Xbox Seagate hard drive thing. No, it's completely different because this is a patent. There was no patent for the Xbox thing. This is Sony's patent for their cartridge SSD. Yes, it's external. Yes, I understand, but that's Seagate, right? That's a Seagate thing that Xbox is partnered with. This is PlayStation patenting their own thing. Okay, and yes, they haven't done it yet, but they have a patent, meaning they can do it. Right? Make the problem, sell the solution. Oh, sorry, our games are too big. We can't put them out there, and they're all digital. Well, if you don't want them, you could put them on a cartridge. Right? Isn't that crazy? Do we need to put another cartridge on the top of the other one to keep it pushed down? You gotta... Right? So you can put your memory sticks in there. It's crazy. See, I remember doing a story like it was yesterday. Meanwhile, it was 5 years ago. 4.5 years ago we did that story. Put a cartridge in the freezer for a few moments? I never did that. I never did that. I do remember taking the towel, putting an ice pack, and then putting it on top of your Xbox 360 so it wouldn't have the red ring of death. I do remember that. Oh my God. There was so many ridiculous things that we had to do. You had to... Hard drive in the freezer, yes, but a cartridge, that doesn't seem to make sense. I don't remember the cartridge thing. The blowing in the cartridge, right? Or licking the disc and then wiping it off. I remember stuff like that. Ah. Some crazy times. Back in the day with floppies, you would pull it out and do this. Like an airhead, right? You would take the floppy out and you would go like this to get any of the dust off. You go, you would shake it and then you would insert it again, right? Then when you had the hard disk, it had that little metal thing, and you would open it up and you would kind of look into it, and you would do this to it, and then you would insert that. We had a place where you could take them and clean your games. Oh yeah, they used to sell. You could take it the at-home kit for the discs. It was a little spray, and you would put it into a little thing, and you would spin it on like a little foam, like a foam cloth type of thing. Can Switch games be pirated on floppy disk? I don't know if they could be copied on floppy disk. Yeah, it's crazy. The one time we had my buddies, we were all playing Oblivion, stacked all of our 360s together just to be funny. And then a friend whose 360 was in the middle got the red ring of death. Oh, yeah, because the heat that trapped in. Oh, for sure. That was the whole conversation. How do you put your 360 up? Do you put it standing up or sideways? Because it scratches the disc if it's standing up. Right? There was a whole bunch of stuff we did. You would scratch the disc, which didn't make any sense to me. Because once the disc went into full revolution, it's moving so fast, so it wouldn't scratch the disc because it'd be moving so fast. The point was that in the beginning starting up process, but like what would scratch it? right? What would scratch it? Remember when you rented? You guys are you're saying it in the chat, but remember when you go to Blockbuster and you wanted to rent a console or even a VCR? They would give you into that big giant like briefcase from like Men in Black. You guys remember that? You guys ever rent a system from Blockbuster? This giant plastic case. Xbox 360 to me was peak Xbox. Yeah, it was good times. A lot of good games back then, Water. A lot of good games during that whole era. During PlayStation, was it PlayStation 2? PlayStation 3. It was Xbox 360. No, PlayStation 2 was during Xbox. And then PlayStation 3 was during Xbox 360. Blockbuster didn't rent systems in Detroit. You missed out, Lurker. You missed out. All right, let's go with... You guys want Dune story next, or do you want the Starfield story next? Rose says, get Dune out of the way. I think Dune's more of a... I mean, I kind of said it the other day when we were watching the event. In a brief passing, I said, and that's basically what this article is about now. Based off the title. The clip says, let's just get Starfield out of the way. I personally don't care. Whichever one you guys want to hear first. Excuse me. Dune or Doom? Dune. Dune Awakening. Yeah, we'll do Dune. We'll do Dune. I could probably rant a little bit more for Starfield anyway. We'll do Dune. Dune. All right, next story we're going to do is Dune Awakening is about to widely change everything we know about Dune. Interesting. Means it's not Dune, right? If you guys like what I do here, we do news stories Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. I just read news stories, have conversations, talk to live chat, give you my thoughts and opinions with no outsource, affecting me and my thoughts and my process. It's just read the article and then give you my thoughts and opinions. If you like that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. If you have to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. All right, so Dune Awakening is about widely changing everything we know about Dune. Okay, which I thought was funny because when they showed the trailer the other day, I was like, oh, so it's a multiverse. It's a different timeline. It's Thanos snapping his fingers. I said, so it's not really Dune, right? And those of you that watch the channel, me and Sarge talked in depth about Dune and how are they going to make this feel like Dune, and it's Dune, and how you're going to make an MMO, and how you're going to do this, and how you're going to, it's going to get pretty boring, and so on and so forth. And yet, here we are, okay? So, in all versions of Dune, there are many possible futures and protagonists, okay, of Paul, and you can also see the relevant clarity. But once it locks himself into a certain path, we can see a narrow way through, and that brings a victory to his family and Friendmere, and the planet Okay, so Paul's decision how to become great cost, of course, because of once assets up to the throne, and fate of the universe is nearly set in stone. It's widely known that Paul is also the most important character in the first 2 Dune novels, and thus the central figure of the major movie adaptations to date. But what if a new MMO, Dune Awakening, asks what if he wasn't? A new cinematic has been dropped by the developer Funcom, which outlines the massive canonical shift in the big Dune game, and literally changes everything we know about Dune by setting the game in an alternate timeline. At one point of me, I think, okay, like a light bulb goes off and goes, that's how they're going to do it, right? Because when they first showed us Dune Awakening, right, me and Sarge were talking about, like, how are they going to make this fun? How are they going to make this different? How are they going to do this? And now they came out and said, well, it's a different timeline. It's a what if type of thing. And now those people that are Dune fans, okay, how are they going to take this as far as, hold on one second, my son's being rude. Okay, so how are the Dune fans going to react to this? Now, obviously, I don't want to talk for them, but this is sort of like how they're doing to all the other IPs out there. Now, this is a video game, and I get it. And we even said, how are they going to make Dune fun? How are they going to change Dune? How are they going to make it feel appealing to people that are playing the video game? It's a video game, okay? But taking liberties like this and changing what Dune is. Now, people like Dune because of what Dune is, the setting of Dune, and what and the setting of Dune is still the setting of Dune, but now you're changing what it is, right? Now you're changing the fundamentals and the entire story based on what you are doing. So you're not a character living in the world of Dune. You are now living a character in a different world of Dune. So it's almost like fan fiction, okay? So it says the new cinematic has been dropped and been developer Funcom, and literally changes everything we know about the game. It says previously the creative director of the game, Joel, had mentioned that Dune Awakening would sort of sidestep religion, meaning that the version of Dune players wouldn't be worried too much about the recruiting freemen of the fight of the religious conflict, but presumably fighting to control the spice flow, okay, and through the conventional means. Now we know that it works from a plot point of a view, or a point of view. Okay, if Paul was never born, then in theory the freemen would never have found what they had, and the prophecy, okay, and the voice from the outer world, and then seeds that the centuries prior to this, okay, but the version of this prophecy doesn't get a chance to come true. This is probably better for the galactic peace, but sadly would also create a universe in which there is no hilarious memes of Stilgar, okay? So it says in Dune Awakening, the new story, a video story, features a version of Paul saying, the only peace I find in the future is it never happened. Once where I, Paul, was never born. How can we know this? By talking to us. After taking to the water of life, Paul then various possible future, even ones that come from the alternate past, apparently implies that the new game takes place entirely inside a dream or a vision that Paul is having. The player is also inside of Paul's vision or something, which seems a little weird, right? Like, I don't know how you guys feel about this. Again, I am not a huge Dune fan. I'm a fan of the movies in the past. Not so much of the new ones, but I haven't watched the second one yet, so maybe it'll bring me back. But I like it, right? Just like I liked Star Wars and Star Trek and all the other things and the Lord of the Rings, right? I'm a fan of the thing. But I don't know if this makes me want to play this game. I was interested in the game. Now I don't know if I'm interested in the game, because at this point it's not really playing Dune. It's playing, again, like a fan fiction of Dune. And again, I get it. It's a video game and you're supposed to have fun with it and stuff like that. But at some point, it's like, why even make it on Dune, right? You could have taken the IP and done something else, your own IP, and done something different, completely different. But instead, you take the IP because you want to bring people into that world, and then at the same time, not give them that world. So it's kind of weird. Okay. It says, in other words, Dune Awakening has removed the original storyline of Dune while keeping the setup of Dune. Okay, it's also still, you got the House Atreus and also trying to figure out how to control the spice, but now soldiers are guarding it, and apparently the freemen have been exterminated. Essentially, Dune Awakening seems focused on a version of Dune's mythos and has some options for a player, but paradoxically contains fewer. if the Freemen are also really not around, maybe there's still something hiding. The dynamics of the controls of Arrakis is also really different here, and also a bit smaller. The idea that Paul's less universe is interesting, but it also suggests that we also get different heir and former of Jessica's daughter. We haven't glimpsed of the characters yet, but it feels like the game may still be hiding a few secrets, because if there's really no Freeman then really no superpower, okay? So it's kind of weird. I don't know how you guys feel about this. Again, a lot of these companies like to use the IPs and the brands to bring you in, but then completely change the story. And I get it. Like I said, it's a what if type of thing. So it's like a Marvel's what if, it's a DC what if, it's a Star Wars what if. And I don't know if I kind of like this type of stuff. Now, it's different from movie making and television show making to a video game making, right? I don't like that they do that type of stuff in Star Wars, in the film stuff, right? I'm okay with sort of, let's take Jedi Survivor, for instance, right? Like, that's not a movie or a show, but it's a video game of a story being told within that realm of Star Wars. Even Star Wars Outlaws, right? You're being a character in that world of it, but it doesn't really change what the world is. The world is what the world is. Even Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order, it still takes place within the canonic of that world. It's not a what if, it's a character within that realm. This is 100% a what if. This is 100% fan fiction. This is 100% make your own story within the Dune universe. And I don't know if I'm a big fan of this. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Were you interested in Dune Awakening before? Are you intrigued more now that it's not like Dune, it's more of a what-if type of thing? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. Again, what do you think about Dune Awakening? Are you excited for it? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys on the next one. If you like what we do here, please check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. If you buy Dune Awakening, does it come with a Dune popcorn bucket? I'm in. Magic says, that's pretty cool. They met someone from the, say, state in all my years. I can't remember playing with people from the same state. Company says, so they're changing Dune, but made it a big point for multiple videos that it would be a faithful 1 + 1 isn't equal to 2 here. Right. I totally forgot about that, Krebsy, that they literally said it's Dune, and they made video after video of telling you how Dune it is, right? If you're excited about Dune, and yet it's a what if. It's all vision. So I could spend 500 hours to solve it, and then Paul wakes up, poof, everything I did was for naught. Because Dune is big, right? Now it means it's smart. Look at Fallout. Because Dune is big right now, I mean, it's smart. Look at Fallout. Yeah, but Dune's always been big. And yeah, but Fallout is not based on a book or television. I mean, I guess it is. I see what you're saying, Eclipse. I see what you're saying. Maybe it's because Dune is so old, right? It's one of the original story type of things. I see what you're saying, though. Okoki says the what if of Suicide Squad didn't really pan out. Hopefully this one works out better. That's true as well. Like the Suicide Squad, the what if. Dune, multiverses of Elseworlds. What the fuck? Just make the new story, for fuck's sake. That's what I'm saying, Lurker. Like, if you're going to take... I hate the liberty that people take with the stories. Now, Fallout, the television series, still takes place within the Fallout realm, right? They take a little bit of liberty, but it's not in an alternate timeline. Eclipse says, I'm glad they did. This is where they keep the lore about the weapons and the accurate, but they're not messing with the actual real story, and that's fine with me. I see where you're coming from. I will try it if this is on Game Pass. I don't think it's on Game Pass. It might be. I'll be honest, because there are other games that are on Game Pass. Like, I'm excited, but remember when me and Sarge were talking about it months ago? We're like, how are they going to do this, right? And then they start talking about other... Like, Dune is Dune, right? There is no other realm. There is no other thing. It's just sand. It's a sand planet. And, like, how dark it is. And, like, what they're doing to survive there. And then we started hearing stories about how they had, like, different biomes underground and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, okay. So at that point, you're kind of like changing it. And again, it's a dream world. I get it. We're not even talking about gameplay and stuff right now. We're just talking about what the game is, where it stands, right? The gameplay could be fun as fuck, right? It could be a great game. It could be fun as just a video game. But as far as the lore goes for Dune, right? That's where I kind of have a problem with. Brainchild says, make Dune kind of like Starfield with all the choices, but give them multiple endings. Like this as X, depending on what you do throughout the game. But the problem with that, Brain, is that this is an MMO. So other people change what you're doing in the game. Eclipse says, I'm just saying Rings of Power is what happens when someone messes with the actual lore. Right, but I don't think video game can change what happens in the lore of, like, film and television are in their own little, like, how do I describe this? Like, that's the real lore, because that's where actually, no, it's book first, but then it's the adaptation. Unless it was a movie first, then it turns into a book, vice versa. But a video game gives it more liberal with it, where they can do what they want with it, right? And I'm okay them making a Dune game, but it seems like they're changing it so much. Why even make it in the Dune universe? I'm curious to hear Sarge's thoughts on this. He's a pretty big fan of Dune. We'll see on Thursday when we ask him. Yeah, Nate, this is not talking about, like, the game itself, like, as far as, like, does the gameplay feel good, the mechanics and stuff like that. We talked about that a couple of months ago, going, like, how are they going to do this, right? Like, the beginning states of the game, it's a survival game at the core, right? And someone can come and destroy your base unless you have shields, and then you have to go to these faction wars to get certain resources and materials. It's going to be interesting how the gameplay is. We're just talking about the Dune Awakening. We were wondering how they're going to put it in Dune in this world, and now we understand that it's all just a dream world. It's a what-if backstory lore of Dune. It just takes place in Dune. So it doesn't take place in Dune. It takes place in a dream while the guy's sleeping in Dune. Right? You're playing a moment in time of the guy that's living in the world of Dune, having a nap, and you're in his world, in his brain. Why sit it in Dune? For more sales off the nostalgia, of course. But you're not buying the Desert Nomad. You're pre-ordering Dune Awakening. Right. And that's what I'm saying, Brain. Like, why make it, right? We obviously know why they're making it, because Dune would sell because the show just came out, right? The show just came out. Do you think it's odd that all of a sudden they're coming out with a Dune game the same year as Dune Part 2 came out? Do you know what I mean? Look, as Eclipse said, you see how good Fallout did, the TV show, and then Fallout video games are getting big again. People watch the Dune movie, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm gonna try the Dune game." It's not by accident. What if, especially if it's a well-known IP like Dune, it's basically would sell itself, and that's my thing, Water. Like if it's like I don't know, what's another thing that came out that's a pretty new franchise that they could take liberties with. That's not a beloved franchise like Dune, Star Wars, Star Trek. At least it's not a wet dream. You never know. It could be, Lurker. We don't know yet. Sounds like they're protecting the lore. It sounds like the people that own the rights to Dune are protecting the lore, Jones. And these guys said, hey, we'd like to make a game in Dune. And they're like, well, you can't do that. You can't do this. And they went, okay, we'll set it in a what if. And they're like, yeah, okay, you could do that. Would you compare this to Hogwarts, using the world, but in a different time? Could be cool if they respect the lore. The difference is, so Hogwarts Hogwarts sets inside of Harry Potter, right? So this is a good comparison, Makoki, right? So Hogwarts is set inside, but it's not changing the lore. There's enough time span between it where it's not linked directly to Harry Potter, right? You're just a random person in the Hogwarts realm that it's your story within that realm, and it doesn't affect the story that's been told for Harry Potter, right? So that's fine, okay? This, the way it's a dream effect, it doesn't really affect because it is a dream, a what if. But at the same time, they're kind of changing, but it doesn't really matter now. They're just using it for the IP, right? Hogwarts wasn't called Harry Potter, The Adventures of Harry Potter. It was just called Hogwarts. I don't know. I guess it could be the same, Makoki. I think as I'm speaking, right? As I'm speaking, I'm thinking about it, and I think you're right. I think that the Hogwarts and Dune, the way they're doing this, could be the same because basically Hogwarts could be a what if, right? It could be a what if. It could be. I think that's a good comparison that you brought up. Hogwarts could be a what if. And Hogwarts was used to sell because of the Harry Potter fans, and it sold very well. I think the difference now is Hogwarts is a single-player game as a game compared to what the story is. And it's just a standalone story where this is an MMO. So it's like, how far can they go with this to keep it going before it catches up? Or I guess they can do whatever they want because it's a dream sequence. It's a what if. You bring up a good point, Makoki. What is Dune about? It's about religion. It's about politics. It's a pretty deep story, Ron. I guess the difference is that there's a reference things from the books in the game. It follows Harry Potter's canon. Right. But it is just a story within the Hogwarts world, or I guess it would be the Hogwarts world. Marvel and DC got plenty of what ifs. Versus and Spawn from what if comics. Right, but there's a difference, I think. More cats, and you're right bringing up this, right? I think, though, there's a difference between comics in general always have different stories within the comics, right? There's different comic runs. There is a what-if comic run for both of these series and stuff. But there is a lore that runs through it. Like Wolverine in most of the comics is Wolverine no matter what. His backstory is the same. Spider-Man's backstory is the same type of stuff. There is little things that they change. Like in a what if, like Spider-Man becomes Doctor Strange and stuff like that. And that's fine. But comics, just in general, are comics. Dune, Star Wars, and all this other stuff, there's not runoffs. Like, that's the story of Dune. That's the story of Lord of the Rings. That's the story of Star Wars. Right? So I think it's a little different. As he says, the difference with Hogwarts is that they stand aside Harry Potter stories, so everything can be very similar. For Life says, I played tons of Conan Exile, so I'm pretty excited to play some Dune. Yeah. As far as the game is concerned, Life, I'm not giving shit to the actual game because we don't know anything about the game mechanics. I was excited about the game. I still am excited about the game. I like playing open world games like this, like an Ark and stuff like that. We're just talking about the lore of what they're doing behind Dune, right? We were asking questions before they came out this weekend and said that it was a what-if type of thing. Before, we're like, well, how are they going to tell the story of Dune? How are you going to take place in the Dune story? And we were confused by it, but now that they say it's a what-if, now we're talking about, is this going to be good that it's a dream, right? It's an alternate timeline inside the Dune universe. Because if I'm playing Dune and people that are fans of Dune like the Dune story, but now you're kind of like not in that Dune story. You're in like this different Dune story. Dune can't be a stand aside story because they're not going to have a reference to the original other than the factions, weapons, and vehicles. Very true, Z. Unless the game is heavily story-driven and on rails, it's hard to keep the game completely lore accurate. Then the players choose it's involved. Right, and I think it's a smart move. I'm trying to think of another Okay, so another MMO that took place, right? Star Wars Galaxies. Okay, Star Wars Galaxies back in the day, which this game is taking heavily influence from, right? Like they're very driven by what that game was. That took place during the actual between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, right? Like it was in that trilogy. Okay, so like obviously in the movie we only had Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader as the Sith and as Jedi, and within the Star Wars Galaxies thing, it was building up now. Like Luke was basically like more Jedi were coming in, you would be trained, and it was taking liberties of you living in that Star Wars universe, right? So it would be like a what if type of thing. But the canon, the story, everything about Star Wars Galaxies was in that Star Wars universe. It wasn't a what if. It was like, this is the foundation that you're living in, and you just can be a bounty hunter. You could be a Jedi or a Sith inside of this world, okay? So it was hard written into the Star Wars story. You were just fantasy about being a part of that lore, that ground foundation of what it is. Now, obviously, they could take liberties with the Knights, or not Knights of the Old Republic, but Star Wars: The Old Republic, because it was set 1,000 years ahead of time. So now they can do what they want with it, tell the stories they want to tell, and it doesn't really change what you know of the original Star Wars, right? This is taking place during the actual Dune, right? The foundation of it. But now it's not taking place during that. It's the liberties are endless and they can do what they want. Okay, because it's a dream sequence of an alternate timeline. Unless the game is heavily story together, Dune Awakening's announcement cinematic makes more sense now. It had Paul holding sand, and then it zoomed into the hand kind of going into his mind. Right. It does make sense now, Krebsy. I think overall, as a video game, I think this is a smart move as far as the player going into the world and being able to play inside Dune. But as using the Dune IP, I think it's kind of, I don't know. This is as much as Dune as Conan was for Conan. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Conan was sold because you like Conan the Barbarian. You like Conan. So they were using that to sell the nostalgia of it. And they're doing the exact same thing with Dune, which is not a bad thing. I'm just kind of disappointed that I was like, oh, interesting. Dune. But now it's not really Dune. It's more of a fanfic of Dune. Right? So, I don't know. Overall, I think Dune Awakening will be... I'm interested in the game mechanics. I'm interested in the world. And now it does make a lot more sense what they're doing with the game. I'm more of a Red Sonja fan. I mean, who isn't? I mean, yeah, I think this is why they hired those people to make it. I think they approached them, I think, right? We'll see. I hope it's a good game. Going back to actual game, I hope it's a good MMO. I hope it's a good game. And I wonder if it's going to be a massive multiplayer, right? Did they ever say the server size of people? Is it hundreds or just like 30 or 60 people on the server? Right? Is it like hundreds and thousands of people, like a new world? Like a World of Warcraft? Or is it more of a slimmed down? I feel like there's always some liberties in video games. The books are already written. Sure, but I guess what I'm saying, Jones, is they could have taken this and they could have put it either way in the past enough to separate it from the Dune novel, or in the future, and it could have wrote their own story. Do you know what I mean? I feel like the way they're telling the story is kind of weird, because they're betting on your nostalgia of Dune, where they could have went way in the past, thousands of years. They could have changed the landscape. They could have told the story of Dune before the collapse, before what happened in Dune. They could have done way after, in a completely different realm, like in that world. But they took it during that time frame because that's what you're interested in. Do you know what I mean? This is my problem with Acolyte that I haven't watched. That they could have taken Acolyte and they could have pushed it 1,000 years into the past, but they put it so close to the original story, which then whatever they do here kind of affects the story. Sure, if you put something in 1,000 years ahead of time and you could make changes, you could be like, oh, well, that changed what over here. But there's so much time in between that it could have went back to what we know it as it is. Instead, they put it so close up to it. They're like, well, make you think, well, did this actually change what was happening here? And everything I know here is bullshit now? I think the dev said 1K. Okay. Thank you. I was coughing. B. Smitty. Thank you very much. I don't think it's what we're saying about the game or what they're doing. I don't think has any bearings on like if I think the game is shit or not. Right? I don't think the game is shit in any way, shape, or form. I think what they're doing though. Right? I think what they're doing with the game is fine. We're just having a conversation of why choose to do it during this time frame and then make it a dream sequence. Right? God, I wish episodes 7, 8, and 9 were a dream sequence for Luke Skywalker, right? That would fix a lot of problems, wouldn't it? Okay. Like 7, 8, and 9, all of a sudden Luke wakes up from a bad dream and it doesn't exist. It was just a fantasy world. Like that would be fantastic, but that's not the case, right? 7, 8, and 9 are lore now. They said there's a different place you'll enter, guessing like a dome or something like in a different biome. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see how the game. We talked about this on the podcast, right? It'll be interesting to see how it starts off because it's a survival game and you're going to die a lot. You guys remember playing Ark when you first started and you're on the you wake up on the beach and then you get mauled by a dinosaur and then you come back in, you get killed again by a dinosaur, and then you come back in, you get killed by a dinosaur. That's what I feel like is going to happen in this the start of Dune here. Obviously, no dinosaurs. You're gonna get killed by the worm. You're gonna be walking around, grabbing a lot of resources. I think there's gonna be a hell of a grind, and the sun's gonna kill you a lot, right? Because if it doesn't, then why make it happen in Dune, right? Right? You're going to end up in Dune in the desert and you're going to die a lot because it's supposed to be brutal. We'll see. We'll see. In my head, I wish 7, 8, 9 were all a bad dream. Yeah, in my head, Luke Skywalker is literally dreaming about that. That's actually didn't happen. I'm still excited about Dune Awakening. You know me. I love my open world survival games where I can build shit and explore. It's right up my alley. Right? Right up my alley. Lurker says, or you could be like me in Ark, wake up on the beach, get mauled by a dinosaur, and then uninstall. I'll be honest, Lurker. The first time it happened to me, it happened. I died. Me saying what I just said happened to me 3 times. I did uninstall it. And I didn't go back to it for like 6 months. And then someone wanted to play, and I said, I'll install again. And then when I joined somebody else, it was a much better experience. But that's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened. I showed up on the beach. I walked a little bit, picked up a bunch of sticks and rocks, got killed. I had to start again, got killed. I was like, this is stupid. Sounds like you guys all kept wandering off the beach. No. I literally got killed on the beach. This is when it first launched. When it first launched, I got killed so many times. I was like, this is not fun. I got killed by like a stegosaurus or something like a stegosaurus my first time. Then I got killed by some sort of smaller creatures. Then I went in the water to try to cross. There was like where I spawned in, there was like a little bit of water. Maybe, I don't know, 4 feet deep. My guy didn't even swim. I was walking across the water and then got killed by something in the water. I was like, this is not fun. Sounds like a skill issue. Yeah, totally a skill issue. Yep. How'd I get killed by a plant eater? Not sure. They basically mauled me to death. I'm pretty sure I aggroed him, and then he ran and charged at me and killed me. And then I respawned, and then I got killed by a smaller group of animals. And then I got killed by whatever was in the water. Yeah. I was like, man. I was like, this is not good. Lurker says, total skill issue. If the Deads had the skill to make a good game, it wouldn't have been an issue. I enjoyed Ark after the fact when I played with a bunch of people. And then we made a camp and build a base, and we had, we were riding dinosaurs and shit. That was cool. But my first initial introduction to it, I was like, yeah, this is not fun. All right, the next story we're going to talk about is Starfield. Okay. If you guys like what I do here, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just read news stories, have conversations. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do live streams, uploads, podcasts, gameplay, lots of stuff on this content, on this channel. I appreciate you very much for coming out and hanging out with us. All right, so Horse Armor rides again. Bethesda is charging $7 for a single Starfield mission, and after months of minimal post-launch support, unhappy fans are feeling ripped off. Okay, I don't know who these people are right here, unhappy fans, because the people that are unhappy are probably people that didn't play the game. Okay, they just hated the game from the start, right? They just didn't like Starfield from the start, so they're not really fans anymore, right? They're just unhappy gamers at this point, okay, feeling ripped off. Okay, so Starfield Creation Update added a new bounty hunter mission to the game for free, but if you want the second mission, it'll cost you. Now, obviously, we've always been upfront, and I've always said that I hate microtransactions, because microtransactions is literally just a skin, right? You pay $5, $10, $15, $20, $25, $50 for a skin. There is no content. There is nothing about it that's actual content for the game. This is a $7 piece of content, okay? And in this piece of content, okay, they give you a storyline, okay? They give you places to go, right? You have to follow the mission and do the mission. There's dialogue and story, okay? There's new guns and cosmetics that you get and rewards that you can get inside of this. Now, I haven't played it myself, okay? Now, they did give me 1,000 credits because they gave me the premium. I never played for Starfield. They gave me a code for it, and I got to play it, and I've been playing it. I have over 200 hours in the game, enjoying myself with it. But I'm going to buy this because they gave me the coins for free. Okay, they rewarded me 1,000 for having the up tier whatever edition. So I'm gonna pay the $7 that's not mine to get this, and I'm gonna play the mission. Now, to someone to compare a Fortnite skin for $5, $10, $15 for a skin, and for someone to charge $7 for actual content, character model, dialogue, story, okay, actual gear, cosmetics inside the actual thing, is a lot different than paying $7 for one skin. Okay. And I'm baffled by this. Now, I haven't read the article yet. Okay. But for people to be upset about $7 content as a DLC, this is on top of the game that you already played. And if you don't want to pay for Starfield, you don't have to. You can literally pay for Game Pass and play Starfield for hundreds of hours if you wanted to without spending a cent. And on top of that, there is tons of stuff inside the creation kit that people have added for free. You don't have to pay for this specific thing. There's plenty of bounty missions that you could do for absolutely free with story, mind you, with inside the game itself. Okay, so let's read on. Okay, Starfield made a pretty big splash on Xbox Game Showcase over the weekend, serving up the first look at the upcoming Shattered Space expansion and also dropping a major update, heralding that the launch of the Starfield Creation Kit, a free editor, and enables players at Bethesda to make and share new content for the game. Shattered Space looks cool, and they rolled out the creation has not gone over entirely well. Quote, new missions have been added to Starfield as part of the update in Bethesda, said the update announcements. The Tracker Alliance established the first several missions enable you to live your best hunting life. The first mission of Starjacker will also have you in contact with the mysterious tracker located in the settlement through the settled systems. From there, lets the hunts begin. Now, I played this mission, the first mission. Okay, I think it's called like the Star Tracker or Star Jumper or something like that. And I think it's called the Starjacker, right? And it's a short mission or whatever. You play it. It's just like any other kind of story mission that you play in the game. And there's other things on the bounty boards that you can go to. There's like, I think there are 3 or 4 missions that you could do as well on top of that. And that's all part of the game. It's inside the game that you can go do. So it's just like another quest line that you would do inside the game if you met someone randomly in the thing. So if you like that type of mission, then you can go, hey, you know what? I like that. I'm going to pay $7 for that content that they've added to the game. And if I don't want to, I can still do a million other things in the game. Okay. So the problem is that the second Tracker Alliance mission, the Vulture, is only available at Starfield Creation, and it sells for $7, which really is $10, given that you'll need to purchase 1,000 Starfield Creation credits in order to have enough to access it. Now, I'm pretty sure. Oh, yeah, you can buy a $5 one. You can buy as low as 5, but you have to do 10 as well. It says the Vulture is also an official Bethesda product, so leaving aside jokes about Bethesda jank, it says to assume that there's a level of production quality that's not always going to be present in the fan-made stuff. Even so, there's a widespread feeling that a lot of the money for a single quest. This blows my mind. This absolutely blows my mind, right? And this is me not defending Starfield in any way, shape, or form, right? I've said I would pay $15 for DLC, for content, for story. Okay, you add more story and content to a game. Doesn't matter what that game is. If you put something behind it, I will give you money for it instead of paying $15 for one fucking skin. $50 for one fucking skin. $80 for a monkey glove in a first-person shooter game, right? There's a lot of problems here when people that are buying microtransactions across the board that they're okay spending $70. They're okay spending additional $70 for a pre-order game of a live service model of an expansion pass that comes out a year from now, but they're not okay spending $7 for actual content. It blows my mind. To compare, the Starfield Premium Edition upgrade goes to $35 and includes a full Shattered Space expansion and the Constellation skin pack, digital art book, soundtrack, and 1,000 creation credits, enough to buy the Vulture mission. Now, is Shattered Space actually just 2 quests in trench coats? Probably not. Redditor Mighty Novak wrote, so I doubt that even Bethesda believes it's a reasonable pricing. So it, love of God, dropped the price. Okay. Oblivion sold entire elaborate player houses complete with quest lines for less than $2. So accounting for inflation is also be generous to say that $3, I think, or $3 for fun quests and some cool equipment would at least be reasonable to compare of what they're currently being offered. Okay. Redditor, Bubba123456 is also somewhat more analyst. He says DLC is fine. Charging $7 per quest is fucking stupid. Again, I literally downloaded a free. You know what? Let me open up my Xbox real fast and let me show you. Right, you can go into Starfield. Okay, and there's free quest lines that you can like pick up and go do. Right, there's people that charge $5 for a complete other, quest line and whatnot. Okay. It says there's some pushback against the notion that players who point out that nobody has to pay for these missions and that the release of the creation kit, which means a flood of new content, all for free on sites like Nexus Mods, enough to keep everyone busy for a very long time. But it's not just the cost of the mod that's the issue for some players. Recalling that Bethesda's catastrophic attempt to introduce paid mods in Skyrim in 2015, there's also a feeling that this is part of the long-standing effort to separate gamers from their money. My brain's, I'm hemorrhaging here. My brain. Okay. Again, someone pays $15 for one skin. They'll pay $10 for a season pass that they have to grind for, which is absolutely nothing but skins. And someone charges money for an actual DLC for a small little thing. You don't have to pay for it, by the way. You don't have to buy it. You could not buy it, and then I guarantee you it will go down in price. Because they just put the creation kit out there. They want to see how much people will pay for it, right? If you don't want to pay for it, don't buy it. Get some of the stuff that's on the creation store for free that people are putting out there. Okay? So Bethesda quickly walked back the initial effort to charge for mods in response to angry uproar, but dipped its toes back into those waters a couple years later and launched the Creation Club. And then went a little deeper in 2023 with the Verified Creators Program, which enables members of the program to sell their work. And again, fine. It's still plenty of free stuff out there, but it's also a significant wave of negative reaction to the news. And of course, the attendant spike of negative reviews on Steam. Here's another thing that I think is absolutely ridiculous, right? Everyone's like, I want to support creators. I want to support developers. I want to support these things. Some of the stuff that's being made for Starfield is literally by people like you and me that decided to open up the creation kit inside Steam, make an actual, their own time, one person made a quest or whatever, and they're asking for $5, and they're like, the audacity of you to take your time and not make a free mod. Like, I'm blown away by this. I really am. Okay? Like, we're not talking about Bethesda. We're talking about verified people that are making content like you and me, that it's their side business, right? They're making content for a game that already has content in it. Okay? So it says Starfield is drawing similar IRE enough continuity in all new review bombing, but influx of negative reviews sure isn't doing it already a mixed rating on any good. So people are going back, the game that nobody wants to play, the game that nobody likes, the game that nobody actually plays, okay? Now they're getting review bombed again because nobody's playing it. Nobody likes it. Nobody wants to do anything, but yet they're following this story really closely, okay? So one Redditor said that Appears of Vulture sets a dangerous precedent because assuming it goes over well enough to the future content releases should be cut up, sold piece by piece, and think that it's overstating that things a bit. Now, Bethesda games typically come front-loaded with massive amount of content, and it's really not reasonable to expect the endless stream of post-releases more for free, but I can see where it's coming from. I don't think Starfield is a bad game, strictly speaking, but it's a standalone disappointment for Bethesda's RPG in light of what is natural to think about the studio might be more inclined. Let the new monetization scheme slide for a while, and rather than using the launch for the long-awaited mod tools to lean into it. Okay, then again, Bethesda has something of history of breaking ground in the field of squeezing more money from the committed fans. The new Starfield mission has drawn many comparisons with the infamous horse armor that outraged so many Oblivion players back in 2006. Remind you, $2.50 for a skin, for one skin, for a fucking horse back in 2006, and $7 for actual content, storyline, cosmetics, weapons, right, is completely two different things, right? So the horse armor won, despite all the online upset and mockery, people bought it. And the door of microtransactions is the mainstream gaming was flung open. That may be well said in case here too, and I won't dispute that the $7 for a single kill this guy mission is kind of bullshit, and yet, but the people are willing to pay for it, then you can bet that they'll be making more in the future. Absolutely. And that's absolutely correct. If you don't like it, don't buy it. It's that simple, right? There's plenty of other content on the creation store that you can play for absolutely nothing. Okay, let me bring this up. Okay. Okay, in the creation store itself, okay, this is the tracker mission that they're talking about here. Okay, so let's click on it. Okay, so what would you rather buy? A $10 skin, which is just a skin, or would you rather buy? And I'm not saying $7 is good. I'm just saying $7. You get the a sniper rifle. Okay, includes a new Tracker Alliance bounty. It gets a airborne Nova Strike sniper, 2 additional outfits. Okay, that's 2 additional outfits, not 1 additional outfit for $10, just the outfit. Okay, you get 2 additional outfits. The quest becomes available at the wanted poster inside the Tracker Alliance thing, right? So you're getting multiple things, and it's an actual content, dialogue, story, places to go, different things, right? You're not just collecting it, walking out the door, going, oh, there's the guy, collect him, and then move on, right? Yesterday, we did the Tracker Alliance tracker on stream, right? The free one. Okay, you went in, you had a conversation with a person, you had to find him, you tracked him down, you talked to him. He says, well, I know where they are. You get in a ship, you travel to a different system, you go onto this space station with 0 gravity, you start going through, killing all the people, you get to the guy, and then a story progresses, right? There's something that actually is happening here, okay? And that was free. So if it was just the exact same quest, right, but it was $7, I would rather pay $7, not that I'm paying $7, I would rather pay $7 for that than to pay $10 for 1 skin. I would rather pay $7 for content than to pay $80 for a monkey glove, okay? But these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think about them, Bethesda, or anyone going forward, right? Again, I've said this for Suicide Squad, Marvel's Avengers, Anthem, any game that you like. If they sold Gotham Knights, which wasn't a live service game, I said if they added more DLC content for $10, $15, right, $20 for actual content, I have no problem buying the content because you actually put time into the actual thing to make it, okay? But if you're just putting a skin out there for $10, $15, $20, that is a problem, okay? So here, this guy, this is a $5 quest, okay? This is a $5 quest by a verified person inside the thing. Look at the detail, okay? $5 for this one with over 1,200 lines of fully voiced professional dialogue, okay? Robin is a dynamic companion who will share her likes, dislikes, and ultimate influence of the journey as much as they influence her, okay? In this, you get a morale and ethically complex, right? You get unique blend of humor, reacts to the background, commend of her in battle, a growing story with this actual companion, load order friendly, right? Into the future, she actually goes along with you. This content for this person for $5 has her own backstory, has her own missions that you go on. You get to know the actual companion, and this is $5. But these people that are complaining that $7 is too much for content, and they would rather go shit $80 out of their ass so they can get a monkey glove from Call of Duty, or $15 to get a skin for V-Bucks inside of Fortnite. Okay? Again, these are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, please check out some of our other video. Thanks for watching. It's insane. Insane. The problem with this is not that Bethesda's charging $7. The problem with this is that people out there will pay $7 to unlock Jason Voorhees in a cosmetic skin, right? The problem is that people will pay $80 for a monkey glove in Call of Duty. Okay. The problem is that they'll charge $25 for a Valorant skin or $500 in a League of Legends skin. That's the problem. The problem is not $7 content in Starfield. It's definitely a micro store that they're going to start putting stuff on, get paid for it there. Of course. There's I have 26 mods right now on my game. 26 mods, and 0 of them cost actual money. I have so many things that add story and different things with already in the game, and it costs me nothing. It's completely changed the landscape of what my game is, right? There's a whole thing of when you go into space now, the Crimson Fleet has different things inside there. You can make your own story, and there's actual dialogue and stuff that happens there for free, right? Remember, you don't even have to pay. You don't even have to buy Starfield. Remember that. All those things are a problem, including the $7 Starfield mission. It's a slippery slope. I would rather pay money for actual content than for a skin. That's the actual point. Let me see what you guys are saying back up here. Let's see here. D-Money says, the only people that should care about the $7 price tag for the story DLC is anything about the game are people who play it. I wish they put the $7 content updates for my favorite game. I would happily pay. Argus says, I used to be obsessed with the absolute degenerate of Ark back in the day. Dolphin says, Jesus Christ. Waterbear says, well, if you were just a skin for $7, people wouldn't complain. Oh, but you put a mission with all this. Blasphemy. Yeah, it makes no sense to me. They are just sad, strange little men. Dave Rose says, how long is the mission for $7, though? If the question is because $7 is a hefty price for a single mission. But you don't have to pay for it. You understand that this is a test market, right? They just put the creation kit out there, right? I just showed you two examples. One person that was a verified creator made a whole mission with a companion for $5 with a whole backstory of stuff. 1,200 lines of dialogue. Okay? And yet, they charge $5. Bethesda's doing a mission, and that costs $7. How do you get the Batman outfit? I downloaded it. It should tell you inside the actual thing when you click on it. Inside the description of that thing you downloaded, it should tell you where it is. Was there DLC pass or something pre-launch? There was no DLC pass. Oh, actually, there was. The Shattered Space was the DLC pass, which was, I don't know if it was a season pass or if it was just sold as DLC. I don't know if it was season pass. I don't remember, Jones, or if it was an actual, like, expansion, just one expansion. No one bitched about this in Skyrim or Fallout 76, but want to cry about Starfield. Okay, sounds like something to complain about. Now this journalist is complaining that the players made shit isn't good enough. Let's go on, Roadkill. Dave Rose says, I get that people are complaining, though. It's a bit pricey, and all it probably is something pulled out of the game, but it doesn't see why people are giving it people complaining at a hard time. You're 100% in saying that they could have pulled it out of the game, and I have no problem with that. My issue is that people are complaining about paying $7 for actual content instead of $7 for a skin. Roadkill says, Call of Duty skins are like $26, dude. Some of them people are crazy. I laugh about it every time they're wearing them. Yes, microtransactions have indeed ruined the gaming industry of creative practices. Free-to-play has ruined gamers' minds. We can argue about price, but this is a good old DLC from the sound of it. Let's see here. I already read that for Dave Rose. Altern says, who was the one telling me about Creation Club wasn't MicroStore? Look now how the news changed. Hatter says, based, Mike. Nope, too much. Waterbear says, why? Because I prefer skins as my content. Thank you very much. It's definitely a MicroStore. And they're going to start putting stuff you got to pay for in there. But yeah. Of course it's a MicroStore. But do you understand the difference between a MicroStore that just charges a skin for $15 and a store that charges you for actual content? Like, there's so many things there that are free that give you more story in the game if you choose to download it. It doesn't cost you anything. And 90% of the store is free. So just use the free stuff. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, has the journalist ever made an article about Fortnite skins? No, they're happy for the V-Bucks and stuff like that. People act like there's just Bethesda that gets shit. The internet was pissed over the monkey glove thing. People buy the monkey glove thing, but do you understand how can you be upset about DLC? It's not expensive DLC. And I get it. If you don't want to spend $7, don't spend $7 and then watch them lower the price, because they know they do it in Fallout 76. They put out something on the store and they'll charge $15 for a bundle, right? For a bundle. They give you a whole bunch of stuff. No story or anything. It's just cosmetic stuff, setting or whatever. Okay, $15. No one buys it, or a few people buy it, or thousands of people buy it, whatever. Okay? And then 3 weeks later, that same stuff that you bought goes on sale for a third of the price, right? You don't have to get it. It's a testing ground. They just put the creation kit out. People are excited about it. They're like, oh, $7 for the thing. They want to see how many people buy it. And when people buy it, they're like, okay, that's the price. That's the price that we're going to set our DLC at. If you don't like that price, don't pay for that price. You could go, it's too much. I don't want to play it. There's a shit ton of stuff there that's free. And to compare the DLC or content that they actually put lines, dialogue, skins, weapons, and all this stuff for $7, okay, compared to other microtransaction stores is insanity. The mission was probably stripped out of the game as well to sell. Sure. There's still... I have 200 hours in the game before I even got to this story. Rather than spend on content over a skin any day, I never buy skins. If people pay for DLC that hasn't come out yet, and then I see a slight problem, is there just today's outrage, or people need to bitch clicks? It's going rampant, right? People that haven't talked about Starfield in a couple of weeks, they're like, well, got to talk about Starfield again. Remember, this is a game that everyone thinks that the game sucks. It's a bad game, right? It's a shit game, terrible game, right? It's the worst game ever created. Bethesda's failed. They're closing down shop. Xbox is done. It's going third-party platform. It's going everywhere, right? They can't stop talking about this game. They got to bring it back as much as possible. One thing is bad as the other is worse. Both are bad. For instance, mission is bad. Cosmetic skin is worse. Both are bad. I don't think, again, when can they charge, right? If No Man's Sky started charging for DLC, would people get backlash? Would No Man's Sky get backlash if it charged $10 for DLC, $15 for DLC, $25 for DLC? Would they get backlash for what they're doing there? An actual DLC is completely fine, but this consistent bidding for what is considered content and then what isn't as a price X is getting fucking annoying. I get classic DLC back in the day was also a microtransaction. Roadkill says, thank you, Mike, for finally admitting Starfield sucks. Clip it. Clip it. Make sure you put the whole clip in there, though. It better be free or $5. For No Man's Sky? Do you know what I mean? No Man's Sky is giving out 27 DLCs, or for free, right? Updates, DLCs, whatever you want to call it, for free. Are they ever allowed to charge? If they decide to charge, would they be able to charge, and how much would they be able to charge? Right? Destiny charges $15, $30 for DLC back in the day. Okay? People are fine with that. Right? For actual DLC. And sometimes the DLC was like 2 hours. That was it. right? I'm not defending that if what Starfield is doing is good or bad. What I'm talking about is how stupid the gaming industry is that they're okay spending $15 on one cosmetic skin, and when something has actual content in a game, they have a problem with it. They're extorting. That's what I have a problem with. People make it just like a Starfield thing, though. I have hundreds of stories about people mad and sad about because it's charging for content. Sure, Rose, but there's also 1,000 articles written about Starfield weekly, right? Right? Sure, there was an article written about the $500 skin for League of Legends. Yeah, absolutely. Right? $500 for a League of Legends skin. But it's animated. But it's got flair. Right? Sure. $500 is insanity. $80 for a fucking monkey glove is insanity. $7 for DLC for a short mission? It's not insanity. Remember, Call of Duty charged $1.50 for a reticle. For a reticle. Okay? For a reticle. That's 7 dots in Call of Duty for story. Oh, it wasn't $70. It was $80. Is Starfield the new Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? We start to see 30 articles a month. Those can't complain. Is he one of the bought the $200 fucking tower for Destiny? Maybe I'm misremembering. No Man's Sky would get backlash. They shouldn't get backlash, but they would because players are conditioned. You're absolutely right, Jones. I think 100% they would get backlash for charging something because now they've given so much out for nothing that if they charge for something, people would be like, I can't believe you get out the 28th update and it's $5 for this update. Did you say $500 for a skin and people bought it? Yes. $500 for a League of Legends skin. Oh, hold on. League of Legends fans outraged over $500 faker skin. That could be outraged. You could be outraged for a $500 skin. $7 DLC that you can get something for free on the same thing. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of things that you can get for free. Thousands by now. Okay, on the creation kit, right? $500 skin, not content, skin. That new robot companion Derek can be used with Vasco, so you could have 2 companions at once. Technically, you can get 3 followers at once with the right setup. Bethesda says, if No Man's Sky had the option to have a free or choose to pay, I would pay. Hello Games devs, I would support. And I think, Bethesda, I think the point is, though, people would bitch about it, right? Because if they did charge for it, people would be like, I can't believe they're charging this. It's like, I've said for years, stop it. Like, let it be paid for your DLC. Like a skin, in my opinion, A skin should cost 50 cents. 25 to 50 cents. The max price for a skin, maybe $5. Maybe $5. I personally don't have a problem with someone charging $7 for content. I don't care if the mission is 30 minutes or 2 hours, right? If they actually, and again, there's people on the Creation Club that are like you and me. You can download the Creation Kit on Steam, and you can start making money, right? You can start making stuff for content and put it on the store, and you could charge for it, right? Cheap skins equal more people buying it, most likely, but they don't want more people buying it. They want one idiot to buy $500 for a skin. Altern says $500 should be a status to laugh at, not to be make me envy. I would see a person with that and troll them. Like, yeah, but the people that have $500, you would hope it would have a lot more money that they're spending $500 on a skin. I would hope someone that doesn't make $500 spending $500. I would hope. And that's my point, Lurker, right? Do I agree that this mission is $7? I don't know. I didn't play the mission, right? But I am. They gave me 1,000. I never paid for Starfield. Straight up, I never paid for Starfield. They gave me a code for Starfield, right? They gave me a premium code for Starfield. So I have the DLC when it comes out, okay? So when Starfield's DLC comes out, Shattered Space, I'll play that as well. They gave me 1,000 coins, okay? And I'm going to play the mission. And when I play the mission, I'll tell you if I think it's worth $7. Right? I literally have been asking for Marvel's Avengers and Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights. Okay, I said, make short stories, and I would pay for a comic, right? A comic, just like I do in real life, $5 for the comic, right? Someone put ink to paper, they drew pictures, they put words to it, they sold a product to me, right? It's content. I pay $5 for it, pay $3 for it. I read the comic, I put it down, right? In Gotham Knights and in Marvel's Avengers and Suicide Squad, if they charged $15, not for a skin, but $10 or $15 for an actual story where they put characters and dialogue and story, okay, within there, I would give you an actual money for your content because you made content. And if you don't want to give them money, then you don't get that content, which is fine. We know the line. People fine with $10 seasons and multiple missions, guns, etc. $7 for one mission is a no. I don't think they would pay $5 for that other one. I don't think they would pay $3 for it. They want everything for free, but they'll pay $15 for a skin. What can you buy for 1,000 coins in Starfield? I would be lying to tell you I know off the top of my head. Let me bring it up. I don't know. This is why I'm holding off on D4 expansion. I'm not blindly spending $40 until I feel the content is worth it. So they give you 1,000. Okay. Now these are featured. The featured ones look like they're paid for. I don't even think this one's paid for. So here, this is a skin, Starboard Gravisuit. Okay, not charged. It's free. Okay, in Fortnite that would be $15, $15, right? For that skin. Okay, so for 1,000, you get the $700 Tracker Alliance, okay? And you could get this one, which is the Astro Crimson Fleet ship habitat, which, you know, decorates your inside your thing, whatever. It says the captain's quarters, you get crew quarters, you get cargo bay, you get bar mess hall, you get a workshop engineer, you get an armory, you get computer core, you get a Crimson Fleet Armstrong flight deck, right? It tells you everything that you get inside that thing, right? So for you get some plushies, you can get some plushies if you want some plushies to put into your thing, okay? I wouldn't really call that content. I wouldn't buy that myself. But you could get that and that for 1,000. You could get this. You could get this one, which is a complete new companion, okay, for 500, and then you get the Crimson Habitat. You could get this one, Derek, which is another companion. So you can get 300 for Derek, and you could get a Robin Lockey here for 500. That's 800. So you can get two things there, okay? Let's see what Derek does. All right, Derek does a custom follower. You can travel with Derek alongside your companions. Multitude of fun custom voice dialogue, all right? Multiple fun personalities, event awareness. Derek will react to players' actions. Unique observers above the universe of Starfield. More fun than you can shake a stick at. Where to find him, whatever. So he's just a companion that goes along with you, okay? And he interacts with you. You could get this ancient module for your room inside your ship, right? Someone created that. You can get the mining conglomerate, okay? So for $5, you can get this, which gives you a whole new bunch of stuff to do, right? Because now you get space mining reimagined, a new mission board types, including mine asteroids, protecting mine operations, protecting the mining HQ, protecting mining station. You get 2 new stations, okay, inside the game. Okay, stations have bulletin boards. Player can now receive mail from there, and the station's managed. So people attack the things. It's like a mini game you can also play with inside there. Okay, right? That's $5. Okay, you can get this new weapon. It's a new skin. Okay, that's free. Where you would pay that $5 in a game. Okay. Okay, this skin, the Enforcer. Okay, the Enforcer's a new ballistic pistol. This is a brand new gun for $2. Okay, so this is not just a skin. This is an actual pistol for $2. Okay. You can get a further, faster, smarter boost for $1. Right? And that's it. Right? There's a couple of other little verified creators down here that actually pay. Where there's the same up here. But everything else here. Okay? These are the same. So when you see these paid ones here, these are the same ones. Okay? Here. Most popular. Let's go. Dungeons. Okay, there's 4 dungeons right now on here that you could download or do stuff with. 3 of them are free for stuff to add to. This one's $5. Okay. You can add mech enemies in here. Okay. Do a skin over stuff. Like, the difference between what Fortnite or what other people are doing, or skins where they're charging you money, and what these guys are doing for free, and then for story content and add more stuff to your thing. Again, you don't have to pay for any of this. You can just play Starfield for what Starfield is. I don't know if the price is right, but DLC is what I want. Post-launch DLC that isn't sold ahead of time. $7 for a mission is wrong. $15 for cosmetic is worse. Both are fucking stupid. I think $7 is better than the... You're absolutely right, Krebsy. Both are bad, right? Because we don't know how long that mission is. But I would rather pay $7 for content than $7 for a skin. Or double that for a skin. But Tasmo says, to add to that feel, I feel I got my money's worth out of the D4 at launch with the beta and the hundreds of hours I enjoyed. Yeah, I got 168 hours in Diablo. Right? I definitely got my money's worth. But Tasmo says, wait, in-game plushies, just like Fallout 76. For the weapon skin, it would be $7 in COD or even more. Right. Waterbear says, nope, too much. Need it to be 10 cents each, but I need my skins to be $500 each. Robert Jones says, ideal, I want expansions and not things piecemealed. I 100% agree with that, right? I 100% agree with that. If you could give me 10 missions, right, for the price of that, or 7 missions, right, $1 a mission or something like that, right? Who knows, right? But in the same thing, okay, for the same thing is, if you're an independent developer, you're a modder, right? You're putting stuff together. Someone's putting their time into that, and now they're putting actual substantial content into their, like the companion that I showed you guys, right? Where it has 1,200 lines of dialogue and whatnot, and interacts with your character and goes with you on your missions, right? Is that worth $5? Sure. Value is perceived, but there's content there. There's actual content there that you can, and you don't have to purchase any of this, right? You can literally just play the Starfield for what it is. You could buy the actual DLC that comes out for Shattered Space, and that's what it is, right? Right? They charge $30 for the DLC, and they're charging $7, which is 1/5, okay, of what the total expansion is, right? Is it worth it? Who knows? But you're getting guns, you're getting skins, you're getting story. $7 could be too much. And at the same time, if it sells well, they'll keep it at $7. If it doesn't sell well, they'll lower the price. If it doesn't sell at all, well, then they don't make any more content. Let me put it this way. Would you rather get railed by $7 or $15 or not at all? See, I disagree with that, Krebsy. My stance has always been content over not content. Adding stuff in a game where there's actual content is better than no content and just putting a skin over the thing, okay? For instance, I'm using the Boba Fett skin and the Mandalorian skin, okay? That is absolutely free, okay? Doesn't make any content on top of it. It just makes my headcanon better in the game, where now I'm walking around as a Mandalorian inside Starfield. It makes the game feel like it's a Star Wars game, and that was absolutely free. If that was another game, they would charge $15 to $25 for the exact same skin, so you could walk around the world in that same skin. That is worse than $7 for actual content. Right? It's not being railed because you're giving you content. Is it scummy? Now, if we have a different conversation, take all the microtransaction skins out of the equation. There is no skins for $15. Now we're talking about just content being meal pieced to you at $7 a pop, right? So now they come out with the base game, and the base game's, let's say, 8 hours long. And then all of a sudden, now they sell you another mission for $7. Then they sell you another mission for $7. Then they sell you another mission for $15. Then they sell you another mission. And now it's a 20-hour campaign, but you've spent an additional $70 on 10 missions. Then that's a different problem completely. Okay? But that's not what Starfield is. That's not what Starfield is. The company decided to keep things out of the game so they can create and charge for later is completely different than this. Right, Z. Exactly right. We'll say this. Weird that it's released this new paid DLC before the expansion that people already paid for. Dave Rose says, the majority of people are not complaining, though, that they are just enjoying and playing the game, or the ones complaining are the minority, but you hear them because they are vocal ones. I don't even think it's because they're the vocal ones. I think it's because the media has a fucking hard-on for things like this because they get clicks on their stories. I think that's why they do it. I don't think it's the vocal minority. I literally think it's the journalists writing stories like this because they know people will click on it. Now, the difference between that and what I'm doing is I read the story to you, so 36 of you don't have to actually click on the goddamn thing. All right, Lurker. Have a good one, man. Yet. Well, yet and what's happening now. We're talking about what's now, right? And you're right. They're both bad, but to be railed by $7 and be railed by $15 skin to content. Altern says, you mean what Bungie do with dungeons and separate them from DLC to sell? Right. Right? And Krebsy is not wrong by saying they're both bad. But we're in this transition now where content is bad. Like, that's what we're looking at. Content's not worth the content. I would rather pay double what content is for one skin, which is insane. Obviously, nobody wants to pay for anything. Let's be honest, right? Most people would like everything for free because there's a lot of shit out there and they don't want to spend $5 on everything that comes out. Right? So they want the most for their buck as possible, which in this is pretty crazy. Okay? I'm trying to find one with let's see, homes inversion. This one, right? So here, right? These are creations under the creation thing, right? So they changed the campaigns in the game. These are all free, by the way. Okay, ammo rarity, color filter, building rarity, better food and drinks, better dynamic weather, buffs and food, right? These are things that just tweak your experience within inside the game itself. Okay. And these are all free. People make these and they're like, yeah, let me make your experience better. Okay. These are free, right? Because it's not content. It's things that change what you want your game to be, right? They could charge for this, okay? But they don't, right? Like this one adds more vendors inside the game for you. And they're not charging anything for this, right? This guy's charging for his ramen noodle shop or whatever because he took the time to make it, right? So this $4 for just this stall, okay? That's all this is, right? This is a new stall inside of Neon, okay? If you want to buy this, you can buy that. There's no extra content here. It's just guy created a store. You can buy stuff from here. It makes your experience different. Or you can pay $7, $3 more for actual content with skins, guns, and story. I've seen tweets like that. People saying they'd rather buy a $20 skin than DLC. Insane. Is this included with Game Pass? Starfield is included in Game Pass, yes. Are you talking about the creation kit? Yes, the creation kit is included in Starfield. So yes, if that's what you're asking, Makoki. Eclipse says, does it suck that they were forced to do that? Yes, because it's probably wouldn't have done it that, yes, but I'm glad it happened. Sarge says, the decision has always been, what am I getting for my X dollar? Am I getting a full game? Do I get the full game later? Do I get the full game only? If the game is popular, what does it cost? Rebsy says, I think people would be more willing to spend $7 for fan-made content than $7 for corporate Bethesda. That seems a little weird, doesn't it, though? Who's to say that the people are verified or not working for Bethesda? I don't know behind the scenes. Who's to say that people can't make content for the Alliance tracker on top of it for free? A fan-made one. It says I'm hating. I'm gonna drop $400 on a PlayStation 5 in 2 weeks. I definitely ain't buying a skin for $500. Wait, where are your priorities, Nate? Most of the quality of life mods are fixing things Bethesda missed and transitioning from survival game to RPG-ish story. You can see it in the systems and how it interacted. Yeah, it just makes the game better, and it's free, right? They're just making the fixes for the game. I mean, the $7 mission in Game Pass is the $7 mission in Game Pass. I don't know what you mean by that. The $7 mission in Starfield, inside the creation kit, and Starfield's in Game Pass. So by saying that, I would say yes, it's in Game Pass because the $7 mission's in Starfield. What do you get? Let me see. Starfield. Okay, so this is Starfield in completion, right? So if you get Starfield for $70, okay, if you get it for $70, this is what it comes out to, okay? If you do $70 now, if you just get the game and buy Starfield, which you don't if you're on Xbox, you can just get Game Pass. The main story, if you just did the main story, is 23 hours. Okay. Is that worth the $70? That's up to you. Okay. If you did the main plus sides, is 73 hours. Okay. Give or take. Okay. Is that worth the $70? That's up to you. Okay. If you're a completionist, okay, it's 146 hours. Is that worth the $70? It's up to you. Okay. So for your money, for $70, if you paid $70, 146 hours, and you could get that way higher because there's a lot more things to do. This is just the actual main story side quests and stuff like that, okay? And doing all the completion for the stuff, okay? You could easily go way over this. Is it worth the money? Now, take away the money. Take away the $70, okay? Now you're just playing on Game Pass. 1 month, okay? And you put in the 23 hours for the main quest. Was that worth your $10 or $18 or whatever, whatever level of tier that you're on? Is the 73 hours worth that tier that you were on? Is the completion of 146 hours, was it worth the thing that you were on? And then you put it down, you never play it again. You could cancel your Game Pass. You can come back later. If you still have Game Pass, you could pick up Game Pass again later. Okay? Like, then they charge $7 for an extra thing. Now, if you didn't pay the $70 or $130 for Starfield, and you're just playing on Game Pass, and you paid the $18, you have Ultimate for that month. You completely played through it for 146 hours, and then you pay additional $7 for one mission. Is that worth it for you? That's up to you. Okay? Or would you rather pay $15 for every skin that you have to play because it's a free-to-play game? Or it's a full $60 platform game, and then you pay, or $70 now, and you're paying $25 for a skin. I know where I'm spending my money if I spent my money. So wait, I thought it said modders don't fix Bethesda broken buggy games. That I've said that mods enhance the game, they don't fix the game, right? Fixing the game is, like, the game is playable. You can play the game what it is, Rose. Okay? Right? Putting Boba Fett in the game doesn't fix the game for me. The stuff that Brain's talking about changes things because people are like, well, they didn't put that in the game, so I'm going to put that in the game. That doesn't change the game. Like, you could play the game as is, and it is what it is. But when people's opinions and stuff change, they're like, well, I want this more RPG. I want this more. They're adding that for the benefit of themselves. But you can play the game as is. It doesn't fix the game. You can play the game as is. It's a rough slope, though. Glad modders get the fix out quick, but would rather mods add to the game, not set the game straight. And fixes should be coming from devs just as quickly. Right. Not in Game Pass if it's DLC, right? What do you mean not in Game Pass if it's DLC? That if you don't get the you don't get the Shattered Space, you don't get the Shattered Space since you purchase it. That's not on Game Pass. You buy the DLCs. Yeah, you buy the DLCs. So Bethesda brought the Creation Club modders to Bethesda to make the mods for CK release. Why didn't they take the fixes and just add it into game? That was odd to me. I would assume for stuff like that, Brain, is that it would cost them more to do those things than have other people do it for nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like the priority list of what's going on, or what they have to fix and what people are okay with. They're like, we'll just let the modders fix it. Instead of putting $10,000 or $100,000 into fixing it. You know what I mean? It's not right, but I believe that's what they're doing. Starfield, $70. One mission, $7. Starfield has 10 missions. At this point, I'm just pouring gas in the fire. Yeah, but you could say that with any game. Right? Call of Duty. Campaign, multiplayer, and hundreds of hours that you can play. Warzone's absolutely free, but you're paying $80 for a monkey glove. $70 for the game. Gets you the campaign, Warzone, zombie mode, all this other stuff. Or $80 gets you a glove. Right? I would rather pay $7 for one mission than pay, which in that mission you get weapons, cosmetics, and story than just a fucking monkey glove. I agree that $7 compared to $70, okay, doesn't make sense if you just times it. You're like, oh, well, one mission, $7, 10 missions. But it's not 10 missions. Here, let's bring this up now. Hold on. I'm going to continue my game. I'm going to open up how many missions are in the game. If you want to play Division, we can play Division, the update for the Manhunt. If you don't want to play that, we can just play Star Wars Battlefront, which is just a mindless shooter, Sarge. Yeah, but Cresby, if you look at it that way, right? This is why I think it's bullshit that games are the price that they are, because Frontiers of Pandora, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora was $70, $130 in November, and then in January it was $30. So in your case that you're saying that game should be $1,000 then. I mean, I can't look at my older save. I had a shit ton of stuff, but this is just what I've completed in my new game plus so far. Okay. So within this one mission, there was 3 things to do, different segments, right? So that's 2. And this is all the stuff in that mission to do, right? So this one mission This one mission, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, right? 21 things to do in this one mission, which is the tracker mission. I had 21 things lists to do in that one Alliance tracker mission. Okay. Deputy mission, right? This is all stuff. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, right? 12 things to do in this other mission. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've done 10 missions. I've done 10 missions in the game through New Game Plus. And within these, there's a list of things that you're doing within the mission itself. Okay. Even Talk to Sarah is still dialogue and story and whatnot inside the game itself. Okay. Right? Still content. There's still stuff in the actual game that you're doing or listening to. Right? There was effort put into the actual content. What should the mission be, though, Krebsy? If a skin is worth $15, what is a mission worth? Carlos says, I just came back. Mike's saying the game should be $1,000. I regret coming back. I haven't bought a full price game since Avengers. Sarge says, I have found that it's no legitimate reason to pay full price for a product that isn't finished on release, and the consumers dictated the market. Eclipse says, well, I do a browser game was 30 hours complete platinum, not valued for me. Story was trash, and the only good thing was the Carnage side story. Oh, you're talking about the Spider-Man thing. Skin shouldn't be 15, but what should a mission be? How much should a mission be? I'll skin $1, one mission, maybe 3 to 5. Dave Rose says, just hating on the story was real good. Oh, you're talking about Spider-Man. I don't care about that. Skin $1 for mission, one mission, maybe 3 to 5. I mean, I'm okay. I'll agree with you, Krebsy. I think $7 for one mission could be a little too much, right? Again, this is a testing market because they just put the creation kit out there, right? Someone's got a story with 1,200 lines of dialogue for $5. So we're okay with that, right? We're okay with the non-Bethesda person making $5, but we're not okay with Bethesda making $7, right? Is that where we're not okay with Bethesda making $7? Can the outsider make $7? What about if we reverse the roles, right? Is it $5 for Bethesda and $7 for the non-Bethesda guy? I think we're right. I think we're splitting things here, right? Like I think we're both in agreement, Rebsy, that sure, $7 is probably too much for the story, but at the same time, in the topic of what we're talking about, $10 for a skin and $7 for a story for content are two different fucking extremes. $7 for a mission is not bad compared to $10 for one skin, which is no content, no dialogue, no nothing. Just the backpack, a blade in your hand. It's all cosmetic. Right? You get 2 new weapons. 2 new weapons, a story, outfits. No, both are bad. I see. I don't want to say both are overpriced. I think the mission looks much better than the $10 skin. Both, the skin is well overpriced. It's about $9.50 overpriced, in my opinion. I'll even give you $9. $1 for a skin. I agree with that. I agree with the $1 for a skin. Right. Bad for the price or bad for a single mission? That's a good question. Even if it's $7 is too much, it's not too much for people who have been disposable income. If you believe if it's too high, you'll wait for sale. Right. Like, obviously, it's going to go down in price. Right? It's going to go down in price. Just like video games. You can pay $140 for Outlaws to get the entire game. Or you can pay $18 a month. Or you can wait till it goes on sale 3 months later and pick up the game for $30. And then pick up the season pass for $30. You save yourself $80. It depends on the length for me to judge worth it if it's not $7 or 5 minutes not worth it. Well, next Monday, I will purchase based on the free money that they gave me. Okay. I will purchase the $7 mission to see if it was worth the $7. And we'll break it down. We'll break it down. Does it tell you how many steps are in the mission and how long it is? It does not. It does not. Let me see if it says it in the beginning. Let's see. Veteran of Colony. Doesn't have anything. High treason against the Freestar government. Take the trenches of a Tracker Alliance contract. Hunt down one of the Bethesda snipers in Freestar space. Includes a new Tracking Alliance bounty. Nova Strike sniper. 2 additional outfits. Quest becomes available. The wanted poster. That just all says. It doesn't say the length of it. I would assume it's probably 45 minutes to an hour. I would assume. I don't know. Sarge says, now if you want to have the discussion that is using every game as a store instead of a piece of entertainment, then I agree with you. And I'll agree with you there as well. Right? If you come out, if Starfield came out and said it was a free-to-play game, right? And then meal-pieced everything together with you, 1,000% I'll be like, that's fucking scummy. Right? Right? That would be absolutely horrendous. Right? But the base game for Starfield is well over 100 hours if you do everything in the game. Bare minimum. I think $7 for a mission is worth it. The $10 for Mariner's module is not. It's $10 for one singular module. It is also nonsense. It also comes in spending as a completely objective. 30 missions are variable. The long mission with lots of dialogue and everything, 5 per mission isn't bad. 10 missions for $50. Dialogue and everything, 5 per mission isn't bad. 10 missions for $50. Yeah, I would have to see what the dialogue is and stuff with that. We'll see. Next Monday we'll play it. Next Monday we'll play Starfield. I will purchase the $7 dialogue and see if it's worth it. I personally think the $7, just on record, I do believe that $7 is too much for the one mission. I think Krebsy is correct by saying $3 to $5 for the one mission. I do agree with that. Okay, but at the same time, in the conversation that we're having as far as is it worse than $15 skin? No, it is not. I would rather pay $7 for that content than $15 for one skin. And I do agree, right? And that's why I said in the very beginning, I said if people don't buy it, it'll go down in price. And I think it will go to half that price. It'll go to like $450, $350, something around that price point. Right now, they're putting it out there They get you hyped up for the Shattered Space. They put the Tracker Alliance in there. You like that first mission. They're like, oh, I'm going to get that second mission. They're banking on people buying it right away because of people's just, that's, if you like something, you're going to buy it. It's $7. $7 is okay, right? All right. You're showing $7 is too much for you. We have to wait and see what the market says. Right, Jones. Right? And again, I agree. I think for one mission, if it's one mission, it all depends on how long that mission is. But if I go to the movies, right, for 2 hours, it's $7, $9, $10, whatever it is, right? Each their own. I just comparing the $7 content to $10 non-content for cosmetics. Okoki says, to add to the discussion, when you buy a skin that's available to you in the whole game, whereas a mission is a one and done. Maybe a gamer perceives more value from a skin because it lasts longer. Does it last longer? Because the skin only lasts as long as you're wearing it. Once you change that skin and you buy another skin, then you're no longer wearing that skin. So technically, Makoki, a skin, sure, you can go back and wear that skin again. But if you're keeping up with the Joneses with skins, and they add skins every day, every week, they change those skins, and you pay $10 for this, and you pay $5 for that, and you pay $25 for this. That skin, you can only wear one skin at one time. You can only do one mission at one time as well. So I would say it's the exact same thing, right? Is Bethesda trying to pull a horse armor from WoW again? I don't think so. I think it's completely different. Fucking $2.50 for a skin back then, we were like, what the hell? Now you're paying 10 times that. Sarge says, Krebsy, I would agree with you, but if they buy at 7, then how we feel is irrelevant because the market is in the market. My disagreement is that the game is supposed to be a game, not a store. Right, but if they just... And I agree with Sarge, right? If the Tracker Alliance mission, let's say in total was 5 missions. Let's say at the end of the day, they charge $7 and there's 5 missions total. That's $35, right? $30, $35, okay? So let's say they charge $35 as DLC chunks. DLC like Borderlands, DLC like any other thing, right? It gives you an additional 8 to 10 hours of content for $35. Is that different than them meal piecing it together for $7 a piece over a certain period of time? Yes and no, because they're still charging $35, but the difference is you're paying $7 at a time instead of $35 at one chunk. Not in my state. Pack of beer costs $14. Content is experience, though, not a visual change. So what you're saying is if shop games have microtransactions, that would be even worse, in my opinion. If they break it up, what I'm saying, Dolphin, is that they already have the content, right? In the terms that I'm saying, they already have a Tracker Alliance mission done. Okay, in that video that we watched yesterday, he says that we have other ones coming down the line, is what he says, right? He says it in a specific way, meaning if it does well, we'll have more missions down the line, right? If the Trackers Alliance mission, let's say they had 5 missions total, they give the first one for free, okay? First one for free, and then they give out another 5. So it's 6 total, okay? And each of those missions that they come out with is $5. It's $35 plus the free one that they give you, so it's 6 missions for $35, okay? If you bought DLC called Starfield, the Tracker Alliance DLC, right? Get 6 more missions for $35. You buy it if you want to buy it to add more content to the game. You buy it, right? You could say, sure, they took it out of the game, but that's DLC. They put the DLC a year afterwards. They add the Tracker Alliance mission for $35. There's 6 missions, and they charge $35. Is that worth it? Right? The thing is, you don't have to buy the $7 right now. I wouldn't. I would choose to tell people not to buy the $7 one right now because I think it would go down in price to about $350, $300, $350, whatever their currency is. You make a Tracker Alliance DLC with the story, weapons, campaigns, and locations for $25 to $30, and no one here would say a word. But that's my point. Bethesda pricing it at $7 says their $70 game, only 10 missions. Obviously, Starfield has way more than 10 missions, and that's showing $7 is too much. I mean, I guess. I understand what you're saying, Krebsy. But the total value of the game, based on if they're charging $7 for one mission, then that game should cost $1,000. Because there's like 143 hours of... There's literally like 100 missions, well over 100 missions in the game. Let me see. Let's see. Does it give a list of how many actual... One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 20 in the main. Okay. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 4, 65, 66, 67, 68, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 79, 80, 92, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 4, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. There's 126 missions inside of Starfield. Right? Right? 126 missions. So let me do this. That's $1.80 a mission. Right? That's $1.80 a mission. Is that right? 70 divided by 126. No, that's 55 cents a mission. 55 cents a mission. So that should be 55 cents. Based off of how many missions are in the game and in the total price of it. People wouldn't take that well. Just put out the DLC at that point. I think though, what the creation kit does, like, if you enjoy the game, right? Dolphin, if you enjoy the game, you're going to pay more for the game. If you like a comic book series, you're going to buy another comic book. Do you know what I mean? One comic book might be 20 pages, and it might be $5. Another comic book might be 40 pages, and it might be $5. One story might take you 45 minutes. Another story might take you an hour and a half. They clarified on Reddit that not all Tracker Alliance content will release in creations. There's still free content planned. Keywords being not at all. Not all. So they do plan on sell more and release more. People brought the pitchforks out for Gran Turismo sold cars. But you can race and earn enough money to buy such cars. Industry is weird. Money hungry. $7 for 7 hours content. No. Starfield should be like $850 game, $850 game, by Bethesda's pricing at $7. I mean, or you get Game Pass. Right? So now if you get Starfield, right, was it 18 bucks? Now we're talking if you get Game Pass for 1 month and just played Starfield for that 1 month, you now take all the content and it's 14 cents a mission. That's a hell of a deal. Which now shows me that I'm not buying Starfield, right? I only rent Starfield for that month, and that's 18 cents a mission to play for that long. Which is, if it's 14 cents times, yeah, right? 14 cents, and if it's what they say, 143 hours, that's a fantastic deal. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to buy this mission with my free 1,000 points, too. And if it's not worth it, then I'll come here and I'll tell y'all. I'm going to do the same thing, Dolphin. I'm going to use it, right? I'm going to use it on Monday. We'll play the mission on Monday. And then we can all make our choice if it was worth what it's worth. Now, obviously, that's subjective, right? What I think is worth $7 and what you think is worth $7 is two different things. I think it's a good conversation. I think people, though, are not, and I'm not saying Krebsy in any way, right? I think people on the internet have their priorities backwards, right? They're not upset about $15 skins, $10 skins. They buy them all day long. And then when someone actually comes out with content, okay, they're upset because it costs $7. Okay? And that to me is the main crux of the problem. Okay? Now, a completely different conversation and problem is content should be meal pieced like this together, and that's a different bridge to cross, right? Which we're not going to go into today. EL says, "Damn, I'm just a game tester. Didn't want to study math and accounting. I just wanted to play a game." Now, I got my money's worth. Even if I paid for Starfield, I definitely got my money worth. I got over 200 hours in the game. I've enjoyed all the content that I've played in the game. I thought the main story was weaker than the rest of the stories. I think Crimson Fleet and Vanguard were fantastic. Okay, story plots. Right? I would personally be okay. Like, for instance, the Crimson Fleet mission was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 missions. Like 9 hard missions, but there's a bunch of points in between. But 9 missions. I would pay for that if they gave me just if the Tracker Alliance mission was just $25, $30, I would happily pay $25 or $30 for that DLC for Tracker Alliance. If they sold all the stuff together in one chunk to make my gaming experience better, I would. I don't agree with them selling it separately like this. I would rather them have the whole thing, Tracker Alliance, and then sell it for $25, $30. I think they will all overpriced, but the market supports in the opinion doesn't mean shit. I do think the consumers are idiots. Hill can also get info on the pricing models and stuff. Dolphin says I also can get a free Batman skin in Starfield. Should all be very happy. That's right. I mean, I'll be honest. The Boba Fett and Mandalorian skins in the game, it's a completely different game for me. I can't wait for the Star Wars mod to come in. That'll be a completely different game for me. Yeah, good conversation. All right, that's going to do it for me for today. Thanks for coming in, hanging out, having this conversation with us. We talked about Black Ops being, too many gigs and how games are just becoming too big. We've talked about Dune Awakening, how it's not taking place in the actual Dune world. It's in an alternate timeline. And then we talked about Starfield, about the price of the $7 mission and how the industry is okay with paying $10 to $15 for a skin, but not okay paying for $7 for a piece of content. If you like this type of content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. I appreciate it very much. You guys have a great rest of your afternoon. I'll see you guys tonight for some shooting the shit with Sarge on whatever game we decide to play. Peace.